When it's time to talk about one of the most inspiring minds in history, words aren't enough. Have you ever thought about the teaching of Islamic religion? Have you ever wondered about all of the just, tolerant, and honorable laws? You are very lucky, as you are going to have this golden chance in this episode.
But first, let's know what exactly the word Imam means. You should know that there are levels of Islamic religious knowledge that start with alim, seeker of Islamic knowledge, then faqih, excellence in Islamic knowledge, finally the Imam or the leader that owns a specific school of thought. While he was working as a textile merchant, so Imam is the highest rank and it has one of those who have reached the sky. And the life of Imam al-Hazm Abu Hanifa was very distinctive one. He studied jurisprudence under the students of Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam, companion who is called Ibn Mas'ud.
Definitely his studies for jurisprudence combined with his experience as a merchant. It led him to be wise and logical in applying rules to solve the life issues and questions. You'll be surprised when you know that Abu Hanifa's interest in jurisprudence was sparked by chance. Yes, he just passed by a local home of one of Kufa's well-known scholars. The local one mistaken him for being a student, asking him about his classes. But Abu Hanifa responded that he did not attend any classes. The local one told him, "I see signs of intelligence in you. You should sit in a company of educated men." And he took his advice.
The knowledge of Abu Hanifa has not ended yet. He also studied fiqh, which is the theory or philosophy of Islamic law, based on the teachings of the Quran and the tradition of the Prophet. With the help of Hamad ibn Abi Sulaiman, and amazingly he memorized a huge number of hadiths, which is also the sayings of the Prophet of Islam. Later he was appointed also as a chief judge.
A tale is told that he had such a strong photographic memory that while reading a page, he had to cover the next one so he wouldn't commit it to memory. He was known for his peculiar strength in Arabic, poetry, and philosophy. He was the first contributor to Islamic jurisprudence, and so we call him the master architect of the Islamic jurisprudence. Abu Hanifa's law has been studied by his students under his own supervision. Several and highly intelligent students worked under him for 30 years, and those formed his Hanafi Madrasa. He had many brilliant students, but one of them was Imam Malik, and you'll get to know about him shortly. You're probably wondering what dynasty followed this remarkable man. Well, the Hanafi law spread far during the Ottoman Empire. It was adopted as the state's official Islamic law. Today, this law is followed by more than half of the world's
Islamic law
Muslims.
in an organic growth. That is exactly change would be necessary from time to time as a society change. Abu Hanifa is the first in Islam to organize the writing of fiqh under subheadings beginning with purity, followed by prayers, an order to which was followed by all the coming scholars.
Once upon a time, people were standing next to these walls listening to the voices of scholars, and sheikhs used to fill its space with the teaching of a great Imam, greater scholar, this the Madrasa of Imam al-Shafi'i. As you know, the miracle of a Prophet Muhammad with the Quran to challenge the eloquence of Banu Quraysh. During Prophet Muhammad's life, early Muslims could ask about the laws and their explanations, and madrasas of Islam were established after some 100 years after the death of Prophet Muhammad. Scholars started to explain the complex verses by referencing other verses in the same topic or the hadith.
Imam Malik's principle in jurisprudence is the same as that of the people of the Hijaz. and he built his doctrine on the text of the Quran, its outwardness and its general meaning, and the two concepts of contradiction and approval, warring against the cause. The Sunnah of the Prophet continuous analogy, approval, and the work of the people of Medina, and all these matters are of the origins of the doctrine. Imam Malik, on which his jurisprudence is based.
Imam Malik fell ill 22 days before his death. Then he passed away on Sunday on the 10th month of Rabi' al-Awwal, the year 179 AH. Ibn Nafi said Imam Malik was 87 years old during his reign. Time he was a mufti in Medina about 60 years old, but Qawidi said he was 90 years old.
Al-Shafi'i as an Islamic rite relied heavily on Quran and Hadith, without giving much importance to companion sayings. It was established by Sheikh Muhammad Idris al-Shafi'i from the Quraysh tribe and a descendant of Abu Talib, the uncle of the Prophet Muhammad. He was born in Gaza, brought up in Mecca, but later taught in Baghdad and Cairo. He was taught Quran by the age of 7.
He was taught under Imam Malik ibn Anas, who was impressed by his memory and intelligence, and whom Imam Shafi'i admired deeply. He collected all the strong hadiths of the Prophet. He was named Nasir al-Sunnah, or the defender of the Sunnah. He said that the Quran has to be interpreted in the light of tradition, not vice versa. His school was mostly followed by the Fatimid and Ayyubid dynasties, while nowadays Egypt mainly follows his school of teachings.
After you have known so much about the three previous scholars, it is time to know who established the last rite among the four Islamic rites. He is Ahmad ibn Hanbal, who was born in the city of Baghdad in the year 780. The one who studied various subjects in his hometown and traveled extensively in quest of knowledge. He was interested in acquiring knowledge of a hadith and traveled extensively through Iraq, Syria, Arabic, and other places in the Middle East studying religions and collecting the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad.
Ahmad ibn Hanbal, after returning home, he became a student of Imam Shafi'i, who taught him the Islamic fiqh and its fundamentals. He was a scholar of hadith, who was responsible for his devotion to the textual views on Islam, also his obsession to the innovation of any kind. Ahmad ibn Hanbal was arrested as a result of his beliefs, but after all this suffering, he refused to deviate from his belief.
As his vision was different from all of their views, he would support their views without giving a preference to any. And after his long journey, he passed away in Baghdad in year 855.